Well, here we go. 2 more series, and then the regional playoffs will be over, and we'll be talking CCL playoffs here in just one short week. But until we get to that point, we've got some business to finish here in the Midwest region. The NWOSU Rangers and Oklahoma Christian, a team that we've seen plenty of times in just this exact scenario, Colin. We expect them to do great things into the postseason. They were knocked down to the lower bracket by this NWOSU team earlier on inside of this tournament, and that's a cause for concern potentially for these birds.
It might be, but like, come on, Corey. They were playing with Lord Punked. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. This is a whole new look at the Oklahoma Christian going into the regional playoff finals. NWOSU, they might have had the edge earlier on, but, you know, team's back. And Manny's coming off a little bit of a grudge match because of that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, we love Lord Punk, obviously. Thank you again for, what was it, 2 years ago when he got the screwball shots for everybody around the table. That was a great time. So appreciate him for that. I do indeed. But you are correct. Yes, Oklahoma Christian, cause for concern, quote unquote quotations. You can call them whatever you'd like to. Yes, very different team when you have your starting 4 on the roster. I believe they're going to be without product throughout this match, though. So that could be something that might be shaking things up here for Oklahoma Christian when it comes to trying to get the highest seed possible going into the CCL playoffs.
It might be cause for concern going into it, but I think for Oklahoma Christian, I mean, we know that this team has, you know, what it takes to be champions. We saw it yesterday, or we saw it last year in the finals versus Fisher, Game 7, Round 11. They got the ice. You trusted Rory to get it done. We've already seen one Rory win on the day. You know, we might be able to see Rory do it again here. When it does sound like we actually got news from John that it is going to be Cruz, Manny, Prada, and Derry.
Oh,
God, taking the stage. So Prada will be here alongside Manny. It's going to be looking good for the team. I think there's nothing really to worry about. I think it's really time to kind of dive into these two teams.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And NWOSU, we haven't talked much about them, so we'll go ahead and kind of lay the land for what their season will look like up into this point. Throughout the regular season, 9-2, fantastic in hard point. Search and Destroy got a bit shaky throughout the year. Hopefully that's something that they've been able to work on. At least where this tournament has been concerned, though, they've looked really, really good getting all the way here through that upper bracket, only dropping down to Wichita State there towards the end. So that's the reason they were able to, they actually were the ones who got here through the winner's bracket. Apologies, misspoke there. But regardless, S&D has looked a lot better for them throughout the years, the point that I was trying to make regardless. I think as the season kind of continued to push forward, we kind of had question marks about this NWOSU roster and kind of what they were going to be able to bring in terms of their overall tenacity towards the postseason. There was just a lot of question marks about this team. Every year it feels like we have to talk about this NWOSU roster, but it never feels like it's like right at the end of the season where it's like, bang, they're right there. This is the first time that I really kind of like looked at this NWOSU roster and went, this is a problem for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you always talk about for a lot of schools playing in the postseason is that mental block versus teams like Oklahoma Christian that just continue to dominate year after year. So I think for NWOSU, it's a big moment going into this postseason and actually dropping them to the lower bracket, no matter what stipulation you put on this team. Like, that mental block is now gone. You know you've beaten them. You're looking to do it again. And I think if NWOSU Rangers can go back-to-back in their matches versus Oklahoma Christian, that is just going to shed some new light on this school that a lot of people are going to look forward to in the CCL playoffs.
Absolutely. It's all about setting up the stage for what comes next in the postseason in the 2026 year of CCL. Speaking of what's ahead inside of this series, let's take a look at our map set for these two teams. In a best of 7 that will decide who will come out on top of not only just their specific conference, but their region in general. Again, this is all for the Midwest bragging rights. Scar Hardpoint in map 1, Den Search and Destroy for map 2, and of course a Scar and Colossus will round out our guaranteed 4 maps. Should we go any further than that, of course, Scar, Den, and Exposure at the final task there. Colin, I know we kind of talk very boldly and broadly about a lot of the teams that we kind of bring up in conversation. Overall, how are you kind of expecting this series to develop as we get through the first few maps?
Look, overloads have been fun today. I'm going to say it. It has been a blast to watch these overloads. I think I'm excited to see when we get to that Scar how NWOSU can really play against this Oklahoma Christian team, because I think, if you're a team that's been putting some practice into that mode, that is where you're really going to swing a series into your favor. For this NWOSU team, I think the biggest issues you're going to face will be the hard points. Search and Destroy is what I'm looking for them to tackle and take over with against Oklahoma Christian, and the overloads are where I see them really seal the deal for this series. So I think if you're asking me what I'm looking at, if you could steal away a hard point, that's great from NWOSU. That's not where I expect you to take down this Oklahoma Christian squad.
Well, let's hop into map 1 here. We got a Scar hard point to kick us off here in the battle for Oklahoma. Prada, inside of Market, will be the first one knocked down. That's Biggie Cheese getting the first blood here inside of map 1. And set up. Looking towards the left-hand side of P1. Oklahoma Christian, despite losing that first blood early on, will get the majority of that initial time. 20 seconds ticked off of P1 in the push out to green side.
Initial time for the Eagles. Prada already looking for space with the NPC. 2 kills is going to keep Manny inside the hill. Some early damage in for the congestion. Biggie Cheese will momentarily please take them out. Finally, the Rangers get on the board, but a big focus is going to be this rotation over towards New, and it's Encina to try to beat out Cruz. Fights over there. Biggie Cheese top red. Can he win these fights? He's going to be in.
Yeah, he's dropped down unchecked there. Probably the best look you're going to get to be able to break into P2 here, at least initially. Got to look for the second gunfight, though. Prada snuffs him out. Knew he wasn't behind the Jenny. Was able to make quick work of the player hiding inside of the little left corner. Mandy up in middle map, trying to find one on Jen and 18. Isn't able to find anything for his product here. But Prada looks to the bottom side. He's got teammate support over the top, trying to help out from the red push in through middle map. Cruz is looking to cause some trouble. He's got one with the pistol. Second one up top. Red dropped dead. That's 3 down. Basically all 4. Full P2 control of Oklahoma Christian.
This is what we look for from the Eagles. Just outslay their opponents like in NWOSU. Cruz 6 and 4. Might not have hill time, but he doesn't need it right now. He is the backbone of this team. Everybody else working on the objective, slaying through the Rangers. And the Eagles flying through this map number 1 so far, only giving up 3 points, still 15 seconds. The Rangers going to take one last swing at it. Derry Cod shuts you down. And over to New, it's Cruzy Cod caught by Encina. See if the Rangers can get a setup here.
It seems like every time NWOSU's had at least one on rotation. You saw it the last time where I believe it was Biggie Cheese who was able to just play at that corner, play his life. This is really the first good look that NWOSU is going to have some for significant time. So see what they're able to do off of it. Up through middle cut, Biggie Cheese, a 1v versus Jerry will take it. Nade from Manny will go ahead and trade that out. 1-1, and now Aggro's got some serious pressure he's got to deal with through the front. Double challenge in and a slide through. That's 4 dead. Last player up top, green.
Cena just biding his time for the rest of the team to get off spawn. A team nade onto Encina is really going to slow things down even more. You can see Nate trying to play through mid. Derry again. Another double kill slows things down. Manny aggressive through P3. He gives the rest of his teams up to spawn, although wiped. Chance to re-layer into this hill. 20 seconds that, I mean, the Rangers, this is time that you want to grab. So these 3 kills is going to give you something to work from. But really your eyes are going to be on this rotation and Nil. You're not going to have a read on the Cruz hiding in the corner.
And you get a flank that's coming on the opposite end from the deep spawn out. So it's kind of like a de facto pinch play you have set up here for Oklahoma Christian. You've got 1 forward as you go through P3. On a turnaround 1, you get the raid, and Prada just playing his life in the back here. Bad timing, doesn't get the check out through the spawn. But again, just playing his life here, waiting for the team to push forward. First gunfight goes to Biggie Cheese. Trade should be there momentarily for Manny, and it will be. Derry up top. Blue looking to work out towards the blue side of P3. And it's the spawns that are continuously here for NWOSU. They're winning the gunfights in the back. This is the most important chains of kills they've gotten all game.
They just haven't been broken one bit when it comes down to pressure. I mean, yeah, slow game from Prada, but everybody else is picking things up. I think for the Rangers, you need an answer soon. Aggro and Encina have been fantastic, but I'm looking at Nate to pick things up into the back half of this game because it is just a slaughter fest in this map number 1, Corn, and they got no answer for this team.
And the big thing here is that you got players rotating out through middle. Encina has to really win that 1v in order to give them any sort of chance at being able to hold down the back green spawns for P5. So now as you have everybody on NWOSU playing for the scrap time once again, fighting off the back point. Yeah, I mean, you got about a 100-point lead right now for Oklahoma Christian. There's really not much they've been able to do in terms of break pressure, and the gunfights in the map are still going right in the kill feed. So everything going perfect right now for Oklahoma Christian. Nothing to worry about as they're smooth sailing.
Yeah, smooth sailing. Prada top green. Be forcing these spawn outs. And tracking anybody through the middle of the map. He doesn't spot the player climbing up, but he is going to get around at least, shoot a couple of these players from behind. Manny in the hill, leaves Biggie Cheese alone. A little awkward. He still walks away with it, swaps the pistol versus Cruz. And the help arrives in time, and NWOSU here. But can they hold? That's the question. Prada, 2 in. Manny up top for green, making this even harder for the setup to come through. Manny clears out the rest. No time given up. No time wasted. The Eagles are not letting off the gas at all.
Yeah, you're given a fortunate play through top green on the bad timing from Prada hopping down through middle map, and that gave you a look at being able to hold down the back, what was it, 20 to 30 seconds for NWOSU on P5. But Unfortunately, you just aren't able to walk away with anything more than a couple of seconds there before the next contestant in a push comes in. So everything continuing to go all the way right for the Eagles. You look for Prada hopping up in top blue, has the read on one, just going to keep continuing to fly around, performing the pressure to the maximum here at the moment, just making sure no one's able to touch on P1. Again, it's all about wasting time and making sure you can continue to roll here. 130-point deficit, no matter. NWOSU, what do you have for us on P1?
Finally, set of kills maybe to work with. And Cena's going to find his way into P1. Prada quick for the contest and no time wasted on the break back in. As it just continues to feel like the weight of the world gets heavier and heavier as this game goes on. OC just giving nothing up towards NWOSU. And I mean, Alex, you might have had their number back in the winner's bracket for this grand final. It is revenge.
Like, this is what happens when you have Lord Punked on the roster. No shade thrown at Parker, but we're throwing the shade at Parker. This is what happens when you have your starting four, or at least the majority of four who actually play the game, playing around the map, being able to walk alongside one another. But you got Cruzy, Prada, Manny, and you add Derry to the equation. It's going to be a fun time for him. So over on P2, now the break contestant in through the front. You got basically 200 points right now. Good shots from Derry up on top red, and everybody flying together here. You find the last player. Good shots in. We'll back him up. It's essentially 4 dead without. They're going to have to play this for time here. Off the spawn for the reinforcements. Double sentry now cross through. Prada up top. They go 2 for 1 once again. Trades no problem here for Oklahoma Christian.
No problem at all. 28 seconds. Not going to win off this hill. But NWOSU surely does not want to give up all this time. Will they have a chance, though, to break it is the question. Prada from behind, Manny up top. Another wave of kills. Just one more player. It's Nate dropping down, and Derry's going to finish the job. 10 seconds of scrap time goes to Derry, who's on 4 in a row. Players on rotation for NWOSU. You will have Encina there early, but 2 from Oklahoma Christian are looking to put this away.
That's what you expect out of the, well, respectable, and by far respectable champions that Oklahoma Christian have continuously touted themselves as here inside of the CCL. It's another 4 dead with 10 seconds left. You've got one more break opportunity if you're NWOSU, and here it comes. One player, backside of blue. Derry going to be the first one on contestation in through middle map. The collapse is coming in, but his kills in the kill feed once again going white for Oklahoma Christian. No touch. We'll see you later, Scar. Map 1 to the Birds.
A 60-point club to open up a best of 7.
How about it?
You asked so many questions on what do the Rangers have to do to take a win in the grand finals versus a team of CCL champions. Well, first things first, you can't let this happen. Only 58 points across the Scar hardpoint, and OC never let up. You see every single time, it's just a steady lead that just grows and grows. P1, P2, the most amount of time you can ask for across the Scar, which you don't normally see off of a P1, I'll be honest. Normally, that's the second set of hills that you get a lot of time off that P1 for, but they got the most they could get. And really, the reflection of the score is going to be seen when we look at the kills, because it was one-sided, to say the least.
Yeah, you let Oklahoma Christian open up a gap. It's a gap that you will not easily close or even potentially come to a point where you can try to surface something together. I mean, the fact that it just kind of like flat lines towards the middle and then the end of the game after P2 is kind of just everything that you need to know from how map 1 played out. No shade to NWOSU. They played great the last time they played Oklahoma Christian, but this is just a different looking team. This is championship form stuff that we're now seeing from Oklahoma Christian. And again, this is all in the hopes of being able to play for a championship on LAN in a few weeks' time. Colin, we have talked ad nauseum about what the CCL playoffs are going to be bringing us here and how important these regional matches are, specifically in the grand finals, to give yourselves the best shot in order to get to LAN through the CCL playoffs when we do get there in just a week's time. So again, for Oklahoma Christian, this is a kind of business as usual if you want to kind of frame it in that context. But for NWOSU, now going into a search and destroy where you have famously struggled throughout the year comparatively to your hardpoint and your overload, this is where we have to start turning the ball around and thinking about some different changes that we need to make across the board. And we're getting into this thing quick. We're in the search and destroy. Let's go, Call.
Of course. Like I said, if there's anywhere that you're going to take maps off of OC, it is going to be in your map 2s, 5s, maybe even 7s if we go the distance. Right away, Rangers open up the den, search and destroy with a round 1 on defense. That is as quick as you can ask for.
Quicken up the middle. Everybody flying together, staying on top of the kills. A nice little double from Biggie Cheese, who was able to get in through computers back to the opposite side of Dojo by Dragon Statue. And it all comes down to just that pace of play. Not phased at all by the first hardpoint map. A lot of times you'll see a team that gets belted like that kind of go into a map 2, play a bit more passive, but I think NWOSU kind of just like understand what they need to do inside of the series. You kind of take your passive way and you look at what you did in map 1, how it went wrong, and now all of a sudden it changes around. So through middle map, you have to be very careful. Nate plays a bit more passive, is able to get 1 for it. First blood on the Cruise, Manny the second one to fall. 4 versus 2, man advantage in NWOSU.
Prada already in a 1v3, and these rounds are going so fast. His POV, it looks like he's playing 2020. He can't even get away, tripped up on the mantle. The Rangers, man, if there's, I guess, one thing you can do in this map, just wait for them to run at you. Post up, kill them. Because, you know, sometimes people really oversimplify search and destroy to be like, all right, you know, we gotta send one over, throw some nades, throw some stuns, try to dry out the players, maybe rotate them around. If you can just kill them,
like, hold an iron.
That's all you gotta do, really. Just kill them faster than they kill you. And Rangers, both rounds, shut down the attack from Oklahoma Christian. I say that. I mean, that defense from OC was practically an attack.
I mean, just look what they're doing again. Send nade out over towards B. Kind of play your life here, get the information, and then just retake as a squad. You kind of trust the gun skill right now. You know that Oklahoma Christian's been aggressive so far, so just hold these ADS angles. Make sure you can find at least 1 4, and you're walking away happy. Biggie Cheese, there it is. It's the push through. He's able to find 3, and all of a sudden, now your player of Cruz, who was all the way back inside of spawn with the M15, watching the flank through, is just going like, dude, they are playing so patient. They are not pushing the map up whatsoever, and that's quintessential defense from NWOSU. That's why they're up 3-0.
I really had to ask myself halfway through. I was watching Cruz's arrow, and I'm like, is this guy AFK? Like, what is he doing back there? I swear he didn't move until the very end, but yeah, I mean, that is as good a defense as you could ask from NWOSU. Rangers up 3-0, and Oklahoma Christian just continue to lose these early battles. Think they could just outgun NWOSU. They have different, I guess, agendas in this map, and Biggie Cheese on 3 in a row, Nate on 3 in a row, Aggro on 2, and Cena hasn't even been able to do anything. I mean, hell, if I could play a search and destroy, go 0-0, be 3-0 up, I'm a happy man.
Speaking of happy campers, Nate 4-0. Start this off. Absolutely rips Cruzy off the heady up top in blue. So now you look once again to a map where you have the full spread. You have full coverage of not only your own spawn, but where you want to go with the bomb. Just kind of sitting back and waiting for that rotation and a wrap back. Manny just playing the heady over on the A site. MBC in hand will get some pepper shots over to the right-hand side. A little bit of chip damage to go along with it. Now Biggie Cheese will back off through Broken. Second kill goes their way once again. It's blood after blood and continuous trade opportunities. But Prada actually gets away. This is the first time they haven't been able to trade one out necessarily. However, it's inside a middle map where Nate and Biggie Cheese will tag for it. Manny, last alive, 1 versus 3, 40 seconds left in the round.
Pump's not going to work. And as soon as Manny's seen, look at this. A collapse from the Rangers. They're just going to fight their way through them. 3v1. Don't even give them the chance for a one-on-one. I like that call from NWOSU. No need to rush a bomb plant. There's so much time in the rounds after these gunfights are done. They're just going to take the fight to Manny and Nate. 2 kills in that round. 3 kills in that round. He is 6-0 on this search and destroy across 4 unanswered rounds. Does Nate have the Hellstorm? That's what I'm wondering right now. Because what a tool that would be.
He doesn't
especially
have a
on defense. They got to show me. Nope. But he's close.
He's damn close. A little bits of help that he was able to give his teammates in some of the gunfights, and they go back to the same setup that has worked for him so far inside of the defense. This time, though, it is a full-on onslaught over on the A site, but Biggie Cheese just hops up for a second once again. He's been a 2-piece party throughout the entirety of the game. Manny tries to back off, but doesn't read the pressure coming from the backside of Dojo in through P4. So the collapse back on the site. I love the play call from Oklahoma Christian. If middle map and B haven't been working out, you may be expecting them to be able to play A, but you just don't know that the double hit inside of computers and top blue is where the setup is in middle map. It allows them to get the rotation over to the A site so quickly to where the point right now is just like, you gotta just slow down. That's all it is. You just gotta slow down and play for that first gunfight, because NWOSU are just playing so passive on the defense. Even on their offense, they're playing passive, but they're just playing so slow, waiting for that pick.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, Biggie Cheese finds that double kill off an NPC up close. And Nate's got his Hellstorm now, so even if you lose this round by some means, you got that streak. Aggro playing patient. Prada's going to be caught in the flank, and Derry, who's 0-5, now has to 1v4 just to stay alive in the search. I'm not sure if Nate saw him. It doesn't seem like they know where he is.
Well, he's across the map, and they have the entire A site for free. So if they want to get this down, it's GG regardless. I don't think Terry's going to be able to take all 4 members down inside of 45 seconds on the defuse. Spots one out top blue. They're going to have all the information that Derry's across the map. So realistically, this is just kind of a waiting game of 40 seconds here. Down 0-5 for a full sweep inside of map 2. Oklahoma Christian are going to fall here. Wow. I mean, dude, I'm kind of stun locked right now. 6-0 DoorDash S&D map 2. After a 60-point club hardpoint performance from Oklahoma Christian, it makes you think, where were the adjustments halfway through the game? It just seemed like it was just fly after fly after fly throughout the rounds. It almost felt like they were like, it's going to work eventually. And
Look,
it didn't.
I'm going to respectfully ask if the observer can give me a match timer, please, on how long that S&D was. Because that might be in contention of the quickest S&D I've ever seen. Not even in CCL, like in anything. Like, that was as fast as it goes. Literally, total game time of 3 minutes and 18 seconds. No way that is real. It is quite literally the fastest search and destroy I've ever seen. And every single time, it was just Oklahoma Christian running it down, trying to bully their way through this game. And what do? You just walk into Nate, who goes 9-0, Biggie Cheese 8-3, Aggro 5-1. They couldn't lose a fight.
I mean, when you're sitting there, like, the game plan of offense, yeah, just get to a bomb site and be able to get the bomb down. They didn't even need to move around the map out of their spawn on offense or defense, because Oklahoma Christian were just running it down. And I don't know if this was just like the gut check call for them to continuously do that, or if it was just something to where, like, well, you know, we're not winning the gunfights on like at range or whatever, but like, it just felt like no matter the situation, it was just kind of like stick to the call of just like run at them and get it down on them. And I for whatever reason, for NWOSU, it just worked out. Like, they just played super passive. It was like, it's like the kind of like weird conversations we always have, where it's like, you know, kind of like armchair casters sitting here going like, well, if they play a bit slower, they should be able to stop the pressure. That was like the quintessential moment where it's like, yeah, that is that point entirely wrapped up in a nice little bow put on top of it to slow down somebody else. And it's just like, they didn't move. They didn't need to move. They just won the gunnies. That was such a strange search and destroy. Like, genuinely such a strange search and destroy.
But it's like, even when the rounds picked up and like you see the blitz over towards A, Biggie Cheese finds a double kill playing inside. It's not like you're just like playing passive, waiting for the plays to come in. Like, you are, but you're still in the mix for some of these subs. And that's where the impressive parts come from in NWOSU, is even when the going gets tough, like, you had some bailout moments from some big plays, Biggie Cheese being one of them. He's got 5 assists, 1,000 damage. Like, the cleanup was there, the pickup was there, and realistically, the assistance from everybody in NWOSU, like, that is good teamwork to deny Oklahoma Christian a 2-0 lead to the series. You shut them down 6-0 in the 10 search and destroy. And you go into the overload and you wonder, maybe today's the day. Maybe today's the day we see the CCL champions truly fall.
That's possible. I don't know in a respawn if I'm feeling the same way, because I'm still kind of just like racking my brain around some of the moments we saw in the S&D there. But not to take anything away from NWOSU. I mean, it's very, very rare that not only can you hold a team to 6 kills, basically the exact round count that you went throughout a search and destroy on the opposite side, but to do that against a reigning and defending champion like Oklahoma Christian, a team that has been storied through so many years, the last few seasons of collegiate Call of Duty. Being able to do that is no small feat, especially when they have a very strong roster that they're performing with right now. And like, yeah, like you and I have been, you know, commentating over Oklahoma Christian matches where we see them down like 1-5 or like 2-5 or something like that, and then all of a sudden it's just like 5 or 6 rounds that they just string together, and it's like, okay, well, there was really no cause for concern there in the first place. But like, not even just allowing that one round to go their way, not getting one of those gunfights after how badly that hardpoint went in map 1 is just, it's insane. So Scar Overload, same thing here. We go back to a different conversation point. It was NWOSU struggling in their S&Ds throughout the year. Clearly, they've worked on that to ad nauseum. And now here in a map 3, we look at an Overload where they've kind of been like in between the S&D and hardpoint, where they've been decent, but they haven't been the greatest at it. Maybe some of that hard work pays off here once again, and we see them play this map a little bit differently. Maybe they're able to control it a bit better than they were in the hardpoint, because it just seemed like every time they were trying to go for a push, somebody was behind them, and they just had no read on it.
Okay, so now the question is, Alex, can they do it in the respawn?
That's exactly what I was trying to frame up there. I have no idea.
You go into the respawn, you think like, okay, yeah, we 6-0 the search and destroy. You know, Oklahoma Christian wanted nothing to do with that map number 2. It's like either we win it fast or we lose it fast. There's just no question is going to be had. You go into the Scar Overload and you think about how much you were outslain in that Scar hardpoint. How does that really change in the Scar Overload? Because you can't necessarily sit there and say, okay, like, let's slow down the game. Yeah, Oklahoma Christian are not going to let that happen. And they kind of proved that point in map 1. They second that point in map number 2. It didn't work in the den, but in Scar Overload, it's going to be hard to deny Oklahoma Christian on the flank routes. It's way bigger map. There's a lot more openings, longer angles to play as well. This is going to be a trouble point for the side of NWOSU. It's not impossible, I'll say. I mean, we've seen teams do some weirder stuff, especially in an objective mode like Overload. But it's still going to be difficult for this squad. I think Oklahoma Christian are expecting themselves to be the better team in the respawns. And we can see if they can bounce back after that 6-0 loss.
That's some fun here in map 3. 1-1 guaranteed map 5. Bottom, inside of market. We saw how that gunfight went the first time inside of map 1 this time. We'll be able to come out on top of it, but they go 2-1 for NWOSU. It's a double inside of middle map, and basically all 4 players are going to be 2-2 split down the middle inside of P1 here for the moment. Aggro will grab the payload, try to push his way forward, but Prada will be able to grab that back and start making his way back in through market. He's behind one inside of P1 and is able to snap and find the kill. They need to take care of the player that's over on the mid cut at the moment, but through the backside spawn, these are the next 2 important gunfights. Prada has backed them off, trying to play his life here for just a moment. Will pop back up, goes to the left. He's got teammate support and help. They should be able to slide this one through and will. First score of the game, Oklahoma Christian up 1-0.
And this is where you find yourself in the danger zone, and Rangers deal with it perfectly, clearing out their base. So you lose the initial cap, that's fine. Biggie Cheese trying to get into blue. Manny sniffs it out. You still have a chance at this game. You just cannot get wiped 3 down over and over again. You know Manny's going to try to play through top green, and Agro's going to be caught blindsided by this play. Manny's opened up a route. Not only that, he's made it impossible for players to really shell out this window. A lot of damage there from Derry. He's looking for cap number 2. And it looks like Prada's going to get it done.
Yeah, pathway was carved up in through top green. Allow the teammates to continue flooding through plain side, get the bottom cut into P5 there. And then Derry was able to go and be supplementary after Prada falls inside the top green to the gunfight that came up close. Opens it up, now it's 2-0. Back over by red is where the payload's going to spawn. Pre-wrap out through middle map, potentially into the spawn side, maybe trying to push it all the way over to plane, but instead they're going to try and play this through middle map, force NWOSU to get aggressive up the map and then be able to flip things around. They don't recognize the pressure's all the way over on plane side, but they can just fly through this. There's not a lot of moments that NWOSU are going to have to try and stop this push.
Yeah. And not only that, but yeah, Biggie Cheese on the flank, so there's your saving grace, and as soon as I say it, he's read like a book. Prado with the pistol, breaks down the flank. Won't be able to take down the player top red, and Cena doing a great job of just staying alive there. Cruz gets cut down, and Cena finds a second one. You've broken out of your spawn, and see if you can hit something together here on the counterattack. You just need to win some fights through mid if you're Biggie Cheese, and you're not able to take down Prada through market.
Yo, real quick, can I just say, this is why Oklahoma Christian are defending champions. The way that Cruz knew somebody was up top red, didn't even try to chow it out because he was focused on where the spawn was coming from. The trust that he had in his teammates to be able to win that gunfight up top red behind him while he was clearing out spawn to be the lead blocker is things that are just so foreign to a lot of teams and things that I just don't ever see on the map. So I just wanted to quickly give the flowers there because that was awesome stuff.
Prada with the sidearm. Manny comes to save it. Oh no. And they all spawn up in front of Manny. with the pistol. Another wave. He just gets 6 unanswered. That is ridiculous. 13 and 7. Manny in full takeover. A third capture for the Eagles. 16 seconds left, but why not go for all 4? Manny finally gonna drop in. Cena trying to delay this. See if he can lessen the blow going into the second half. So far, so good, but Manny's gonna grab it, stop the clock at 2.5, and see if you can group up with your team to make a play through red.
You want to have the biggest lead possible going into the second half. Regardless of how map 1 went, map 2, definitely a blemish that you're not happy with. But, as of course, as I say that, they're going to go ahead and fully let the time expire. So a 3-0 lead on the slightly favored side here for Oklahoma Christian in map 3. A lot of good things to look back from on this round. Let's take a look at this Manny 3-piece again from the front here. Are we going to see it in the back? Well, you betcha. Hello. Spots a 3 on spawn. Hello. Pistol. Chow that out. And how about a couple more Packers for the final one? Is that a 6 on final?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane.
Again, just like I've never seen search and destroy that fast. I don't think I've seen a 6 on final, at least in a long, long time. Not
in a grand final, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, not in a best of 7 for sure. So here we go for Oklahoma Christian onto what is technically the better side of Scar Overload. But Ranger's going to fight back. And there's full clearance. See if Encina can do some damage here off the spawns and get your team in for the first cap of the game. On their side, there it is. Nate puts it away, and you got yourself on the board.
Yeah, opening break looks good. Continuing to have pressure here. Could form a rally in just a moment as Incentive still alive. Spot up. Will try to clear out the player top green. Got shaky for a moment there. Had to readjust the snap and was able to get it. Payload still out on the left-hand side here by bottom plane. Inside of P3, Manny will play the top side wing. Now has another gunfight there as Incentive looks to push up here with the submachine gun. Another team kill from Oklahoma Christian. Plagued them for that first score, then NWOSU was able to grab for themselves. Now it's gunfights that are starting to be won. And into the back, Cruz with the pistol was able to find a huge one. And into middle map, Manny clears the way out. White wall completely garnished off with a nice stain of blood. And a 4-1 lead here from Oklahoma Christian that extends once again.
And this is where you don't want to let a player like Manny into blue for too long. Because the SMGs can truly get lost on this side of the map. There is just way too many angles to check. And you can see these players just working around. Doing it all. For a 5th capture out by Prada, he gets it in. And the pressure's not done yet. Derry up top, you still have Manny and Prada. Well, just Prada now down low. But he is just moving and grooving through this spawn. He is so hard to track.
In the middle, Cruz tries to snap to the second, but that's 3 down. Really, all the contention that you have here is Prada on a long flank, but he's not going to be able to get there in time. You've got pressure inside of the spawn. Almost turns back around as Biggie Cheese. Now, though Prada's 18 and 12 now. You still got Manny in the spawn side pressing up for coverage. They're just trying to clear NWOSU out of this side of the spawn. Have a little bit more ground to work with. And now it's a push back over towards White Wall. Cruz is able to win the first one, traded immediately. What this does, though, is this forces the defense to play a bit more passive in their spawn. They don't know where that next hit is coming from. Oklahoma Christian's getting the respawns in, and they're getting map coverage.
It's still a 3-goal game. Nothing has changed since you flipped into the second half. So, device is going to be grabbed. No chance to reset it. You want to stop that clock and keep it at 51 seconds for now. See if your team can open up the map at 3 down. Here's your clearance. You just need a front blocker to do a little bit more damage. And Nate not able to get done, but the cap still comes through. And Cena puts it away. And now it's just a 2-point game. 51 seconds. And just remember, after the changes of overload, while the device is respawning, the timer doesn't run out. So even after the cap, you gotta still have some time to set up.
They're gonna read Manny in the credit corner. Answer was no. Good hipfire shot in the readjustment for him. Snaps back to the second. Last one in top red. It felt like that was going to be a really good moment for NWOSU to be able to push up, maybe find their 4th capture. Instead, Oklahoma Christian reads it well and are going to push back. They're not wanting to grab the device here just yet. Every second ticked off is a positive here for Oklahoma Christian, and now they're pushing out the spawn side. Prado's just going to lay down low. Knows one's coming through middle map. Nate's get the win there. He needs to grab this just to stall the timeout, but he has to take another gunfight versus Manny. Will drop into the spawn side. They have to be wary of who's in their back line. They have to be also wary of the front attack that's coming in through red. Derry up top, able to find one. Second one good. 13 seconds left, and the clock will dwindle down. And all of a sudden, what looked like NWOSU might be able to come back on the favored side here continues to have white in the kill feed. It's blooding red with their opponents, Oklahoma Christian. Inside of another respawn, we'll take map 3, 2-1 series lead in the grand finals.
Doesn't matter the score of the S&D. Respawns still the favor point for the Eagles. See, Manny gets both the first half final kill cam and the second one, 27 and 20 out of Manny. And I'll give it to NWOSU, man. They put up a fight in that second half. I mean, those 3 captures were well executed, but damage done from Oklahoma Christian. A little bit too much to deal with in the long run. So Eagles go up 2-1. We got a Colossus hardpoint to look forward to. Oklahoma Christian running through the respawns, feeling good about just bullying their opponents out. So to think about that, Alex, and now have a Colossus, that is a bad mix.
Yeah, I mean, like, NWOSU's looking good with the subs, though. I looked at Biggie Cheese and I looked at Nate. Like, if you can have those two just kind of like lock down a lane or like be able to pop a 2-piece somewhere here and there, like I see a world in this map 4 where NWOSU makes it a little bit closer, at least a respectable game, especially in that overload. Like, it didn't look like they were just getting kind of like gunned the entire time. I know like the slaying difference was like kind of there, but like I don't mind this map mode combo for NWOSU. We see a lot of teams over the weekend just kind of be able to play this Colossus against teams that are maybe a little bit better or just like maybe not fully prepared for the onslaught they're going to see. Like, I'm not going to say it's like, you know, one of these big possible moments where it's like, oh my god, I'm expecting NWOSU to really steal this, but like it's more plausible than I think what we saw in the overload in the first hardpoint on Scar.
We're not going to waste any time in getting into these maps, I'll tell you that. Time respecters, Alex.
Absolutely.
On both sides of this. So Colossus hardpoint's going to be queued up. Biggie Cheese. A little bit of damage here. But opening break's actually going to be Encina in for the time. Prada down low on 3 in a row. Can he turn this streak into something? He's just keeping all eyes on him. Around, snaps over to another one now for 4. Looking for 5. Finally gets dropped. But it's Manny's turn to get into the mix. And he's going to lead his team back into this hill for a moment. Aggro doing a good job at keeping NWOSU in.
And setup. Able to find himself a double. Opens up a lot of P1. Back 10 seconds here to NWOSU, but they need to be careful of the stone pressure, especially the slip through from Prada. Very easily go ahead and flip these spawns around. Instead, it's Manny who helps out on a distraction. They're going to blow up the red barrel, make sure that's not something that can affect them here on this hold of P2. And through the front, you have Derry on the heady. You got a double inside of the hard point and the backside spawns. They've got everything watched, every angle covered off right now. Now it's just all about winning the gunfights to the front.
Prada gonna go down, and Rangers have been able to at least string together 2 hills now. They break the back spawns. Biggie Cheese trying to push for some space. You got Nate down low behind the play. Takes down at least 1, but you lose your entire team. Aggro's gonna get overwhelmed. You got the spawn in the back, but can your teammates get anything done here? A team nade from Cruz in the assist. And, you know, that comes in handy when you're trying to get the rest of this time. So Rangers looking to already amass more time than that first map we saw on Scar.
That's what I call it, too.
3 hills in.
I wanted to see Nate and Biggie have a really big game, and at least in the early goings, the show has been them so far. Aggro behind 2, gets a read on it, but that's good information now given. As Encina drops down, he's able to get the re-snap and the adjustment. Prado 1v1 win. Inside of green, he'll get knocked down. 41 HP on a push through. It's Manny who finds himself a double. They go 3 for 1. Aggro on the deep spawns over by yellow. Has plenty of utility to use here on the hard point. No trophy thrown out just yet. Gonna be able to hit one up, weaken that initial push. This is gonna allow maybe the sub to get aggressive here. As the Biggie Cheese around the right corner, spots a couple out, but it's just so good from Oklahoma Christian being able to pick and poke their heads out in different locations.
You're just waiting for an opportunity if you're Encina, and this might be it. Nate goes down. So in through the tunnel, Encina tries to make the play. Biggie Cheese slides in. 3 down for NWOSU, and a lead change for Oklahoma Christian, now up by 13. With 17 seconds left for hold. They're trying to find these spawns to the back of P4 as well. Manny and Prada doing a hell of a lot of damage, but it will not flip those spawns. And NWOSU hold on to the yellow side of the map.
What they were able to do on P2, it was a break and hold that they were able to grab. So now all of a sudden here on P4, with the backside spawns in your favor, you got Manny on the slide out. You can still try to hold this down. You're going to get the lucky spawn with player 6 there, but are you going to be able to read Prada once again on a flanking route? He's done this so many times. Instead of up through middle map, and here comes Prada. The flank in. First gunfight goes his way. Second one, you betcha. Has one more house to worry about in the back, so that will fully clear things out for NWOSU. Only about 5 seconds, really, that went a ride there from the Prada push. None of Oklahoma Christian could win the gunfights to the front to be supplementary to the teammate in the back.
NWOSU looking good. You called it, Alex. These subs giving Oklahoma Christian an issue on the Colossus. Manny can't get through. Aggro finds all 3. Looks for more, but Prada's going to not allow him out of that hill. 15 seconds of scrap time. As NWOSU looking to lead after the first set of rotations. Another wave of kills, and it looks like we get a lead change for NWOSU to take the lead heading into the second set. Manny already to P1. Trophies going down. Oklahoma Christian looking for the setup, but take a look at the minimap. Nate's on the flank.
Yeah, it was OC who was able to go ahead and survive the chaos in P1, give themselves a bit of time before NWOSU. It was the 1, 2, and 4 hills that were really the money makers there on the first rotation. It was just Oklahoma Christian on P3 who were able to get basically a full 60 on it. That's the reason why we're at the scoreline we are right now. He changed yet again. Prada on the drop down. Spots another run out by Stone. Pistol challenge, you betcha. All 4 down. Deep yellow spawns. Full map control from once again for Oklahoma Christian.
This is really Prada and Manny against the entirety of NWOSU. 23 and 11, 20 and 13. Truly the only players keeping Oklahoma Christian in this map mode combo right now. If Cruz can heat up in the back half, I mean, you can definitely expect the Eagles to really walk away with it, but Derry's also having a little bit of a troubled map too. 4 and 14. So if NWOSU can keep this going, continue to give these guys an issue across this map, and by all means, I'm excited to see this one all the way to the end.
Now, Sun's having himself a quality game at 21 and 16. I haven't really mentioned his name all that much, but some of the important kills he's been getting on rotation, specifically when it comes to clearing out the spawns, have been massive for NWOSU so far. Over on P2, though, a lot of pressure still to deal with inside a middle map. Manny and the NPC will go ahead and find himself a nice set of kills there for 3 straight. This forces NWOSU all the way back over deep P4, and they still got to deal with him here. How about you rip the heads off again? We saw him do it at the back end of the overload here inside of map 4. No signs of slowing down, and now you have Rory up top, who was on 3 in a row. Thought maybe that was going to be the cook to get him going.
40-point lead starting to grow here for Oklahoma Christian. Prada pushes out. 4 dead again. 15 seconds in the rotation to nil. Already being worked on by the Eagles. 2 players. It's Manny and Prada. Who else? Gonna be the first ones into green. Prada finds aggro, and Cena drops early. And it's both of them winning their respective fights on both sides of the field. Derry helps out. Initial time already in, and NWOSU in trouble. They got to figure out a way through this one, and a nade onto Derry. That's going to assist. Wall bangs from Encina. Can this be a break? Surely, with 3 dead. Last one up's Cruz. 4 dead for Oklahoma Christian, and NWOSU are in.
I didn't think that was going to be something that NWOSU were going to be able to break here on P3. It's just with how the first one went, the set of rotations that we saw for Oklahoma Christian, how well they held down the side of the map. On the break back, though, effortless. 2 kills to Prada. Cruz and Derry will tag along. It was 4 down immediately, so although the break was there, it really was all for naught, because now they have to reflip the map once again.
It's been a big turnaround for Derry and Cruz. They'll say that, because Derry was 4 and 14 at one point, now 10 and 16. So surely enough, the whole team steps up, and the lead grows to what we were seeing back on that Scar hard point, and NWOSU down a considerable amount heading into this P4. Back spawns being pressured as well. Spawn outs for 2 members, and the spawns in the back for Oklahoma Christian. So Headcrow's got to go big with Encina. They find their kills together, and it's just Aggro now hoping the team gets here. They arrive. They deal with it. The Rangers have the setup now.
I mean, dude, full credit to Aggro there. Being able to win that first double gunfight through the back off the teammate, getting a few weakened players there as they were pushing out. That was the spawn flip. He basically fully locks down everything on P4 to allow the teammates to push back. There's not much better that you can ask for, but again, every time that we have a great play from NWOSU, it's just Prada on the opposite end saying, hey, no, I still exist with the NPC in hand. He's running around on the map truly like a sub for the first time he probably feels this year with that gun in his hand. The NPC is just so disgusting at close ranges that it's so hard to be able to combat. And 37 and 17 for the minute in time as well. Keep on chugging, Mr. Man. There's only a 50-second difference here, Colin, as we go back to P1.
We're not even close to finishing this game. And there's quite literally 72 kills across Manny and Prada.
Yeah.
As unreal. Stat line to go through. Derry with the shutdown on the blue side. Spawns over towards yellow for NWOSU. Only 35 left for Oklahoma Christian to put this one away and take a 2-map lead in this series. Rangers need some magic.
Jump up top. P1 held down. Derry waiting for the rest of the team. Smart play out of him. Gets the spot on one, finds a second. Gets the call out over towards blue. Teammates take care of it immediately. Back over to Stone. Snap good for one. Force free for him. Now make it number 5. 17 and 19. 4 down yet again. And they have to look back over to blue. Good read in for Manny. Will get the spawn wrap around. Over to the staircase. It's trying for Cruz. It was Biggie Cheese trying to make the wrap around to maybe get P2 control. Instead, they have to push everybody into P1. It needs to be a contestation here, or the map goes to Oklahoma Christian. Slide challenge in. Derry there. 7 in a row. 8. Almost had number 9. They'll go to the rotation, but it's Oklahoma Christian who are set up there. Nate has to just fly his way forward with a knife out. Can't touch in time. And on the back end of an insane Derry spree, Oklahoma Christian up 3-1. Series and grand finals point.
They truly just don't miss in the respawns. I mean, that is a masterclass between Manny and Prada. And they did enough to allow Cruz and Derry to have a little bit of a hiccup at the start. And as soon as the two of them kicked things into gear, you just never looked back across this series. I mean, you just look at the start of this game when it's just 2 versus 4. As soon as Derry kicks it up, I mean, it is a run-through from Oklahoma Christian going into the back half of this map, only giving up 50 more points after the second set of rotations. 3-1 they go, and rightfully so. I mean, the Eagles in respawns, they're truly just different. And I don't know what you can do to stop Manny and Prada. I truly do not know what you can do.
You're playing Colossus. Like, that's their playground. Like, there's so many ways on this map where you can just get one and get out with your life. Like, yeah, it's a small range map, and like there's really not, I guess, like in the grand scheme of things, you think about it, too many places to get to. But it's how fast you can run from one location to another after you get that first gunfight that makes the SMGs just so damning and so taxing to deal with on this map. And if you don't have your SMGs doing the same, or one of your ARs isn't able to get into a position to slow down the subs being able to get through the front every time, then you're kind of just playing from the back foot every time. And like, credit where credit's due, P4 really was NWOSU's home. Aggro had a couple of big kills there. There's some huge plays to lock down the spawn sides, and like P2 at the beginning at least was somewhere that NWOSU at least had kind of a home that they were able to grow. But it's the snowfall effect for Oklahoma Christian, or the snowball effect rather. It's just like, once they get that ball rolling, once everybody has momentum at the same time, and you get that first string of 4 down, and then the map is able to come to you, and then you have full range and saying, we know exactly where they're spawning, we know where the gunfights are going to come from, we know that we can trust ourselves to put 2 bodies in a spot where trades are immediate. That's when they become scary. That's what makes them the championship defending team. That's what makes Oklahoma Christian at the end of the day.
I want to get a look at those stats, Alex. I got to see the final tally between the two of them. 42, 35, 77 kills across the two of them. 32 non-traded, by the way.
Yep.
4,200 damage, 4,500 damage. You know, we can glaze Oklahoma Christian all we want. We know that it was the Manny Prada show. I gotta give some respect over to Encina. 32 and 31. So many engagements. He goes positive. Biggie Cheese and Nate as well opened up this map with a banger. I mean, you don't end on that same banger, but NWOSU, they're working for it. They are fighting for this series, and I can see it. Although you're outmatched by Oklahoma Christian, I'm loving the fight that I'm seeing.
No, I am as well. Again, I'm trying to give NWOSU as many flowers that I possibly can here, just picking them out of the ground and kind of like placing it in the lap, being like, yo, y'all are doing the right thing. You're just getting out fried. You're getting out fried. You're getting a couple of real good kills. You're getting the spawns out, and then Oklahoma Christian comes off the spawn, 4 bodies, they fry you dead. They come through, they run your pockets. And it's happened over and over and over and over and over again throughout the respawns. The S&D, completely different story. We see what happens when NWOSU can slow the game down and allow Oklahoma Christian to make that first mistake. And it happens in the hard point. The problem is when you have to do that against your opponent, when that is your first line of thought and the first line of defense that you have against Oklahoma Christian, you're not going to be afforded that every single push, every break, every rotation. That mistake's not always going to be there. And so when you can't capitalize on anything but that initial mistake, or you can't be able to turn around and say, all right, we're going to do what Manny did. We're going to do what Prada did. We're going to go get that first two-piece. We're going to get 3 down. We're going to be able to hold this fully from the front and thwart that initial push. That's when it becomes so damning. And that's why we see NWOSU constantly on rotation. When they break in, they try to then push out the lanes, but Oklahoma Christian's like, all right, well, we don't need to send 2 bodies here and 2 bodies here and then split our forces. They'll just send 4 bodies at the same time, put each other in position for trades, and then, hey, broke another hard point.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think you said it on the P3. It's just effortless sometimes when you watch them playing for some of these hills. And shout out Jerry, too. 2 minutes and 13 seconds in that hill. He was the super soaker for that game. The hill kitten, I might say, for the Eagles. But series isn't done yet. And for NWOSU, good news is Search and Destroy's up next, Alex. So we're changing that game mode back over to Scar S&D. We see how the Den Search and Destroy went. For Oklahoma Christian, maybe we'll see them run it down yet again. Maybe we won't. Who knows what the Eagles are going to bring to this map.
I'm a bit concerned because Scar S&D, here is your kind of like spark notes for this. There's an A-bomb. There's a B-bomb. The B-bomb will rarely, if ever, get used. The A-bomb will be used almost exclusively. You're going to have players up in top red. You're going to have the initial push through on the offense. And the thing that you have to do on defense is you have to make sure that you lock down that site over there. And it is a tough hold, especially if you're playing up on top red and you get double chowed. If there's an aggressive team going down to the bottom side of A and then you got to hold off on that, you're staring down the barrel of at least 2 different gunfights. So if you don't have a lot of pressure, a lot of bodies there immediately, or you're being able to upset the back line and maybe get an early flank in, you're going to basically have to be having all of those gunfights directly on the front of that hard, or excuse me, on the front of the AS&D site over by where P2 would be in the hard points. And that is what Oklahoma Christian were not able to get inside of map 2 for the Search and Destroy, where I think that it was a lot of NWOSU just being able to play kind of back in their spawn, not having to really push that too aggressively, put too many bodies out in the open. It's not like they're going to be able to do that over on the A side. You can't just play shoulders the entire round and then hope that you get that first blood. It's going to be a little bit slower, I think, between these two teams when it comes to how they're going to play over on that A site, but it's not going to be the same looking Search and Destroy that we saw from NWOSU in map 2. Not to say that they can't win this by any stretch. They're still going to look very good, but it's not going to be the same kind of style.
No, it's not going to be the same kind. I mean, I wonder, like, for Oklahoma Christian, they really like, all right, guys, you know, down mid every single time. Let's try maybe the B side. I would like to see them, if they're going to 4-hit something, try that B side, but not in round 1. You don't even have a trophy, so. Just like you said, Alex, out to A. And you leave Cruz actually on the flank, so it isn't going to be as much of a bang out as we saw back on that Den. And Oklahoma Christian truly giving it the good old college try right now.
All the way up through A. Full site completely cleared out. Biggie Cheese on the backside of red. Manny had a readjustment on the snap that he had to get there. Huge gunfight through the backside of spawn. Continues to hold Oklahoma Christian with the 2-1 advantage. Aggro all the way deep on the opposite side of the map. They're not really sure about where this player is. They don't have tons of information. Bomb's still down for them. Yet to be able to plant this on the A site. You can see what Manny wants to do. He wants to get over maybe top green or just play this together. It looks like they're going to go back over B. And did Aggro spot the jump from top right? He might have. Oh, no. That time it could not have been worse, Colin. That time it could not have been worse.
Oh, man. I mean, the plant over towards B2, Echo's going to be like, come on, guys. How's this happening? And after 06 in the S&D, Oklahoma Christian locking in for the Scar. And for this one, Aggro making the right call to go top green, but too much damage to deal with, and bam. This one is out.
Oh, that is so unfortunate, dude. There's so many things that had to go wrong in that round for Aggro not to be in a great spot. He sees the player top red. You're going, okay, bet. They're wrapping the backside spawn. And then you sit on plane. You're waiting for someone to come out. All right, they're not picking me. Guess I'll go back A. You get up middle map. Then they plan A. You check the entire backside spawn. You go through the full wrap. I don't see anything. Maybe I'll get top green. And then as soon as you go top green, bro, GG. Like, oh, I love Codman.
I love, I will say, I give Scar its issues on S&D. Things like that are kind of fun. The late round wraps. And Cruz got the boomstick out. Oh, this is aggressive too. I mean, he's feeling it with the sniper, but fortunately, as soon as you realize there's a sniper on one side of the map, that's going to be, or it should be, an instant wrap over towards A. Oh my god.
Wrap back product. Shots in the back on an 8. Biggie Cheese trade keeps it 2-2. Cruz will be forced out green. They are so split on the map right now. And NWOSU don't necessarily get the read through B, so they think that they may still be together. But you never expect this player with the sniper to be all the way back. Spawn Prada stuck in a really weird spot right now with 24 HP. Somehow is able to survive and re-wrap back for another gunfight. Aggro got the snap, runs into the box. Now it's time for Cruz. Pistol out. Wants to grab the AR potentially here, but will just lay down for a moment's time. 20 seconds left in the round. They've got to retrieve bomb out of their spawn. Played either over towards A or B, and as Cruz hops down, knows that they're not here just yet. Does he play it through market? Does he play it on the wrap back over to B? Nothing spotted out just yet with a sniper. I think on this challenge, he might be able to get back over to A. Does he wrap through middle? Does he go top green? He goes through middle. Up on mid cut right now. First gunfight there with the pistol. Wants to take the sniper back out, but both of them re-wrap.
With the sniper, too. He's going to see aggro up top. Into the chow. Yeah, he's just got to wait it out.
Wait a second.
Come on. Give us a little bit of fun. Not going to happen. If it did, though, it would have been cool.
Would have been sick. I would love to see a cool little sniper play at the end there. And you think maybe for just a moment on the little shoulder out from aggro, you're able to get one for it. But I like the way that they played that. After aggro kind of hopped out, he's like, oh, dude, I'm not. I saw the glint, bro. Not like, nope. I'm up. I'm dipping. All right, man. Hey, Biggie, back off. And I'm actually, dude, I'm like a high-key surprised that, like, after seeing the glint and the call-out, I would assume is there from the sniper. Or maybe just, I saw on top red. That Biggie just hops up over top of the radar there, and it's just like, yeah, I'm going to chow this right out in the open with no cover.
Yeah, I'm just going to play with my life there. But no big deal. Still close the round. 1-1 we go. And the defense now holding on true. See if they can deny this first blood as Manny is hunting through mid. See if he can catch players off guard. Manny on the wall bang. Taking a lot of damage in return, but Prada's going to take that aggression, and he's going to run with it. First blood traded out. There he goes down. Manny wins his fight through mid, but it's back and forth, 2-on-2. And Nate's going to take the advantage. Oh, Nate nearly doing it all. Cruz gets away. Bomb planted. He's got another chance for the clutch, but he's not going to get through these two players. Aggro tracks him down. 4 in a row for Aggro. Lots of time on the defuse. And a lead for NWOSU.
And that's probably the most similar round that I've seen to Den so far. NWOSU on the defense. Don't push up too far. They don't get too aggressive. They make sure they deal with the mid-map pressure. And then after that, the wrap back over from green and through the spawn side is able to just stay on top of the trades. Keep your bodies there. And then it was the double from Nate that completely changed the round. And then Cruz had to back off because he wasn't able to get that final peek with a sniper back rad. So lots to be happy with there if you're in NWOSU. Oklahoma Christian, once again, kind of at the pitfall of just playing sometimes just a bit too aggressive. Not to say it's a knock on them. It's just not what they're being shown on the defense. Something that's going to work for them.
Cruz, slowly crawling up. Expecting the Chalao. First blood to Oklahoma Christian yet again. Quickly, though, and Cena's going to follow it up. They just run right through, and Cena chops him up. 3 in a row. Derry already spotted. What a round from the Rangers, Corn. This is exciting.
That first gunfight's everything there for Cruz. You get the one where you're just laying down. All of a sudden, you have a player slide through, put yourself in a 4v3. But then it's just incentive. Just a straight push-up. Gets through the first line, gets the first kill, and then by the time the last two players are up top red trying to challenge and then back off because Cruz is like, yo, I gotta get back. I gotta back out of this situation. You're just forced into a funnel where you have two players directly on top of each other. And with the NPC, I'm promising it to you one thing. You are going to get that double a lot quicker than with the Drovic. So you get that back. You go back to a defense now. You got 5 in a row from Aggro, who is dangerously close to a Hellstorm. 1 assist. 1 even stun check maybe for the plus 15 could even give him the Hellstorm.
And Oklahoma Christian, I mean, they're throwing themselves at these rounds properly. It just really goes to show that the Rangers are a solid S&D team. And these are some impeccable rounds that we're seeing from them, not just in the aggression, but in the way that they're dictating space across the map. Biggie Cheese, top blue. It just continues to keep the attention on him while everybody else peels from behind. And that is going to be another round to the Rangers.
I'm just looking at the S&D like style that they're playing with, and like I can't tell if it's just because it's against Oklahoma Christian and they're like the perfect counters to their play style, or if it's something that they were just able to work on like relentlessly throughout the year, just knowing their overall like regular season record when Search and Destroy was concerned. But this has just been such a great looking S&D series from NWOSU that if the respawn can kind of just like get to a point where even if it's just the overloads and you have to go full Neslo in the series, this could be a team that upsets a lot either in the playoffs or maybe even gets a chance to qualify for LAN. Obviously, still a very poor portion away. Theoretical is at the very end of the day. With Manning now sitting on the plane, looking deep towards back. Then it will be backed all the way off. No sniper opportunity for at least one here. Cruz somehow isn't able to walk away with the last bit of chip damage on the player there, so we'll still stay at 4-4, 25 seconds of the round gone.
They haven't even left their spawn. I wonder if Aggro's working with anything here on this 5 spree. Do we have a streak on their side? I mean, it seems like it after the way that they're playing, but Aggro's way too pushed up for that to be the case. And Cena, no, he's got the boomstick out, and he's looking for a snipe on the plain side of the map. He's not going to find it. And as soon as that is known, you can see that the Rangers really toying with the idea to blitz over towards A, but they want this first blood.
With that sniper, you're playing such good contention spots, but you're not giving yourself a lot of time to work with here because of how slow this offense has tried to set up. Oklahoma Christian were able to sit back on headies, hold their irons, allow everything to come to them here inside of the round, and then that's when they can start striking. That's when they get aggressive after that first blood. And it simply just comes down to just taking too much time to set something up and not having enough pressure forced on A to be able to make a play off of it.
And finally, the bleeding has stopped, though. I think that's one thing to talk about for the Eagles. Is you win the opening round, you lose 4 in a row, and finally you've put yourself back on. So, see if you can go back-to-back and bring this lead only down to 1. It's going to be the bomb in the hand of Derry. Heavy aggression from the Rangers out towards the plain side. A site's wide open, but you got to be careful for the quick flank from Biggie Cheese.
Oklahoma Christian are reading it really well, though. I don't know if they're going to spot him on the blue box, and they don't. Should be a trade here in just a moment. Somehow Biggie Cheese able to stay alive, and there it is. Cruz over the top for help. Aggro there, a trade. 3-2 NWOSU. Backed off deep inside of blue spawn is where Oklahoma Christian are going to be forced to sit here for a moment, and another player getting bit. Maybe overzealous here is going to be Nate. Does Derry get the spot chow and read that left-hand push? The answer is going to be no as he drops down and his teammate falls across the map. So NWOSU able to go ahead, recollect their thoughts on the defense, put themselves back to a 3-round buffer. 5-2 match point here inside of the S&D.
NWOSU got that S&D magic, I'll say. Hats off for Biggie Cheese for the patience, too, working on that flank through plane. He plays his life a little bit longer. He draws out some of that space. His team takes over. And 5-2. This is as good as it gets right now for the Rangers in an S&D. I mean, I say that they just 6-0'd, so it could be better. But holding on to the series, I mean, they're showing they belong here just as much as Oklahoma.
Good shots on the full cross. A lot of information really given to either side right now. Because if you're the defense, you know that they're just fully split back in their spawn. You know that Manning's weakened up on the plane heady, but this is just allowing one to slip in through middle map. You had nothing covered off on side of market, so at least that allows for Biggie Cheese to come through with the NPC and trade that out middle. You look at the 3-3 spread on the map. Very concise between all these teams. A lot of rotational presence to be able to get there for one another should they need it.
3-on-3. I mean, this is quiet for the row. Manny about to get a little bit of action on the plane wing. Good trade coming up for NWOSU, and look at the reaction from Oklahoma Christian. Out to back green. Prada going to clear this one up top. Biggie Cheese sees it, but he's out in the open. That's a freebie for Prada, and the bomb is down. Aggro, 14 seconds to make this into something.
And I like the play to lay down there for a moment, but like, you have to have your teammate there. If Aggro and them are going to commit to that B site and you're going to make that play work, you're watching through the mid cut. You don't want somebody to come through on the full wrap around through B. I get that. But especially in the situation where you're going to have to get that bomb down and you have a 25-second timer of restraint right there, you have to have your teammate there watching over your top to be able to at least get maybe team shot onto one on the hop up, or at least be able to watch over and support while that bomb is going down there. I think that was a misplay. I don't hate the fact that they were watching the wrap back through the spawn side, but again, just given the situation, you have to have your teammate there with you.
Yeah, I mean, you still got time to make these mistakes, man. I will say, you still got time to make these mistakes. 2 more rounds before you're really worried at this point. And NWOSU taking the fight to you, Manny for the first blood. Prada finds a second one. And see if you could pull this 2v3 back. Just don't worry about mana. If they can catch Manny behind you, which they don't, I mean, that's a big change. But Agro's so worried about the flank. He doesn't even know where to take this fight.
Wait.
But oh my god! 1v1.
Doesn't spot him because of the gun. And the model just being a bit too high up in the air, looking for something else. Not expecting the mid-map push. That could have been a catastrophic sequence of events of Prada just hopping out of green weak, just ego-chowing the hell out of the P1 heady. And then in middle map, little turn and burn. Being able to force a 1v1. But if you're Oklahoma Christian, still surviving. We're down 2-5, 2 straight rounds, an offense and a defense to towel for yourselves. Now you go back to another defense. Excuse me, an offense here. No, I was right on defense. I don't know why I second guess myself. But you've got a really, really staunch presence over on B. This is a far back push from Oklahoma. This is probably the farthest back we've seen them play throughout the entire game.
Yeah, this is as patient as we've seen them play this entire series. The bomb is already over towards A. They haven't gone for the plant just yet. Prada with some good damage. I mean, he's getting information on where these players are, but you're just waiting for this to boom over towards the A site, and Prada doesn't know he's lost so much space. As soon as he does, he nearly goes down, but 3-on-3. The bomb getting planted.
Yeah, once that happened, it was kind of like, all right, the onslaught of kills are going to start. Everybody's so close to one another. It just is a matter of time until it happens. Biggie Cheese on the head. He's got a double. You know that one's going to be up top, but he's able to find himself a 2-piece before it. Cruzy Cod, 1 versus 2. Top red backed off, 38 HP. Nobody wants a challenge from NWOSU yet. No reason to at this point in time. Back up full health. Down on the bomb. Looks top red. Can't get the rip in NWOSU, and the S&D close it out yet again. Continuing to keep the series alive in the grand final. 6-4 the final score. But the storyline more important than anything. They played the overload close. They've won 2 S&Ds. This series ain't over, Colin Moore.
No, it is not. The Rangers got what it takes to push the distance in this search and destroys. 6-4, they close it out, and even look at that. Opening 3 rounds, and they lost all 3 first bloods. They still battled their way back. That is resistance from NWOSU in those 4 rounds that they got in a row. I mean, the den was a little bit shaky, like a wash. You know, you go through it, and you're like, all right, Oklahoma Christian kind of running it down in that map for the 6-0 loss. This time around, I mean, you got the full form of Oklahoma Christian throwing strats at you across this map number 5. And the Rangers still get it done. So, I mean, you walk away from this series and you say what you want about the Rangers. I mean, they firsthand are showing you that they can fight against the champs. And in S&D, when you talk about a game mode in general, and us as casters, we always say S&D wins you championships. I mean, this is a team in NWOSU that's done their homework I mean, you said it yourself, Corin, Search and Destroy wasn't even their focus point across the season, but here they are, taking down Oklahoma Christian in the mode.
A lot of it comes down to what you want to work on throughout the course of the season. As we take a look at the stats real quick from what we saw inside of the S&D. Couple big moments that I think stood out to me, at least throughout the majority of that S&D went through. That final round there, credit to Biggie Cheese. Not only being at the disadvantage when it comes to the high ground that he was down low and he had 2 players top red, but being able to win that first gunfight and that second challenge before his teammate was able to fully wrap up top red. Had to win the 1v there to really give him a chance at that round. And was able to thwart the pressure on the defensive hold. Oklahoma Christian kind of backing off into their spawn. The furthest back we'd really seen them play throughout the entirety of the S&D. Not that they necessarily gave up the A site because they still had 1 down low and 1 top green to play the crossover as the offensive team of NWOSU was pushing onto the site, but that final round tough. You go back into some of the other moments from the early rounds of the Search and Destroy where NWOSU were really being able to hold down the aggressive flanking plays that Oklahoma Christian loved to go to in their Search and Destroys. Nate with the AR has been fantastic. Aggro at the same time. Even in Senna, at 5 and 8, you don't necessarily look there as like, oh my god, that's such a crazy stat line or anything, but there were just few moments where he was playing his life extremely well, and it led to a lot of moments where either time was wasted or a kill was able to come in from one of its other teammates. So, quick into the overload here. Oklahoma Christian still at series point, trying to close out the grand final and give themselves the highest seed possible out of the Midwest region going into the CCL playoffs. But NWOSU, as I said beforehand, they are not done. They're going to fight to live another day.
Yes, they will. And NWOSU, big issues have been the respawns. Can they steal one away versus Oklahoma Christian and take it to the mode that you have been undeniable across this grand final on? Playing for the defense, Derry waiting out the next player before he grabs this device. And he's really going to stall things out over towards Lights. Derry missed out on that nade. He grabs it so it doesn't reset, and he's going to back up to his team while Prada and Cruz drop through mid.
Good space being taken on the map, though, by NWOSU at the moment. Because of that full wrap back, man, he isn't able to win the 1v there. Gets inside a couch, is able to turn around. Pistol challenge out on an 8, you betcha. Continuing to do what he does best and fry out the opposition. Aggro. He'll go back to the Dravic for this map, opposed to the NPC. Maybe favors it at range just a bit more. Confirm a few more of those kills that you're going to have at some of those longer ranges. Another set of kills coming from NWOSU. Continuing to keep their spawn side cleared out. Inside a middle map, there he's going to find one on an aggressive challenge. Jump down from blue. Good timing goes his way. Inside the opposite spawn, though, Biggie Cheese looking to push it out.
Scoreless just yet. Aggro. Not going to be ready for what's to come. Derry should be able to stop this next push, and he's done enough damage that the rest of the team of Oklahoma Christian will drop that overload device. 3 go down for NWOSU. A late flank from Encina. And he's for sure going to get here before Manny gets across. I mean, he's just chasing a ghost at this point. And he turns around and Cena finally going to get his gunfight. Shuts him down on 4 in a row. Will end up dying on that streak. But 50 seconds left in this round. And we have yet to see the score.
Now I was watching that full incentive flank all the way through the map side. And it's no fault of his. It just didn't get there quick enough for the rest of the team to be able to capitalize on it. Inside of dojo spawns, they're going to have to hold down a couple of players. Manny will be back out inside a middle map, and he's just kind of stuck here between 3 NWOSU players that are all pushing together in the dojo, though they didn't want to push out too far just yet, get over aggressive, and that lead to a capture on the opposite side. However, it's a Semtex up through middle. Mid-map presence completely cleared out inside of the dojo. The final 2 players remaining. Goes a flank on the outside, but Aggro gets cut for it into the front. Instead of the last remaining player there, and it's a full force of Oklahoma Christian. Eagles flying forward, 1-0 score first on the board.
That's a touchdown for Oklahoma. And NWOSU Rangers really struggling to break out of their spawn now. You can see that Prada is exactly where he wants to be. Derry for the cleanup through mid. And you find this kill. If Prada was alive, that's a rally for Oklahoma Christian. But so far, the Rangers doing enough to give themselves another chance. That nade's going to surely slow things down. Manny is making some issues right now. Finally gets dropped, but it's a 2-on-2 for the spawn. You get through Prada, maybe you have a chance, but that in its own right is a tough feat to accomplish.
Well, this is going to lead them immediately back to an opportunity to score. You got 2 bodies inside a dojo. Everybody spawned up close for NWOSU. Derry almost falls off the map and gets back up. Prada, Manny, another double with nades. Cruz in the backside of spawn, out on the backside of the patio. You're not going to be able to get that in time. The final kill and a little suey off the map for style goes through. Oklahoma Christian 2 straight in. Dude, we're going to have to talk about the nades. either at halftime or after this game is over, because my God, it has been the most important thing for Oklahoma Christian.
Oh, yeah. Cool, Manny. Slipped off the edge. Derry with the pistol. I mean, he's alone. I mean, this would be a crazy cap to find. Derry, though, he's going to take the challenges, and Cena finally going to drop him, but everybody else from a distance going to take these fights. Nobody with a chance to touch. Oh, man, he just barely gets there. 0.8 seconds, but he goes down, and the round's going to finish off there for the Oklahoma Christian Eagles, looking to take this game in 6. They got the lead. They got everything they want.
Outside of the half, though, a bit more favor for Oklahoma Christian. Being able to push over through the dojo, or if that thing spawns over on the P2 side, getting the payload over on the A side of the dojo spawn, a little bit easier than trying to break it back to the opposite end. You really only have one contention point to get a score over on B for the tower side spawn when you are spawning dojo. So although it's not going to be easy to necessarily just waltz it into your opponent's spawn side, and NWOSU haven't been far behind when it comes to the slang, just a bit off in terms of some of the pacing and the plays that they want to make. They can get those concise on timing a little bit better, get a little bit tightened up. And looking at a completely different round for him. Out through middle map, Derry forced to back off with 21 HP. Biggie Cheese pushing all the way immediately. Good spot out inside of computer as you look for one. First blood goes to Oklahoma.
Good wave of kills, though, from both sides. It's just going to keep this one uncontested through mid. And NWOSU have their enemy lines. Biggie Cheese waiting for his call to make a play. As soon as he does attempt to, Derry's actually going to catch him off the respawn. So back through mid, you got full clearance there for Oklahoma Christian. A lot of agency in the middle map is going to push Manny up top for 3. He's got his 17th. He's paved way for another capture, and there's nobody who's going to be able to stop this.
Yeah, not even remotely close. This Cruz is just able to waltz directly into the point. Said it wasn't going to be easy for either team, but Manny once again in the overload, just controlling the spawns of the opposite team to the best of his abilities. Long-range shots on a Nate won't connect there, but gets Nate weak out of his socks. 2 kills go, and all the while, guess who was waltzing back on over to the point? It was Cruz. They got the full rotation there, and it was all thanks to the backside pressure of the spawn and getting them deep, deep ammo.
If you didn't think it was over before, I don't know how you climb back from this. It is going to take everything that all 4 of these players can offer to come back from an 0-4 deficit here on the Den. And as soon as they warm up for another attack, it's going to be 3 dead immediately. With Encina tucked away in a corner to try to deny cap number 5 from the Oklahoma Christian Eagles.
Some text there. Out toward the spawn side, you clear out P2. Cruising out of the back line, wallbang shots, doesn't check the one in the left corner, but it won't matter. What a snapback to him. 4 in a row. Capture opportunity completely thwarted now for the time being as the respawns get in, but you're still controlling the backside spawns and you've backed all the way off. It's a 1v1. Wait a second, all of a sudden. Cap. Now you have aggro who's going to be able to get this over on B. Still unlikely, but not impossible.
Oh, 49 seconds. And again, remember, like I was saying before, when the overload device is resetting, the time doesn't change. When you pick up the device, the time stays still. So you just have to be hyper vigilant to grab this device as quick as you can off the spawn.
Up their middle map. Wait a second. Aggro's going to be able to find another one if Manny doesn't get the timing there and isn't able to get the snap with 11 HP. Aggro directly in his sights. You think maybe, just maybe, you get it back, but now it's time to park the bus. We've got it all the way in the backside of Dojo. They're going to have to go all the way across the map to be able to grab this. They're going to pick it up. They're going to drop it. They're going to pick it up. They're going to drop it. And they're just going to take these gunfights at Liberty. Could work out in the favor of Oklahoma Christian. Might be something NWOSU can go ahead and capitalize off of, but it's 3 down. Last remaining player over by P3. They'll drop it again with 25 seconds left.
Are you parking the bus in your spawn and picking them apart one by one? And you got to give some praise to the Rangers. They pushed in the distance in the search and destroys. But when it comes to the series, when it comes to the respawns, our CCL champions are just a little too good. Aggro for one last cap with 8.3 seconds. It's got to be flawless across the breaks. You got to rally here. You got a chance.
They've got everybody in the spawn, though, pushed back. It's going to be the Hellstorm coming over, but it's got to be quick enough to be able to go ahead and get those kills off. It doesn't come tech. It doesn't find anything with it. All of a sudden, the score goes through. 8 seconds left. Full range of kills, 4 down. And now it's all about setting over by P2, but they've got the spawns here close. Crew's looking to push forward. Right-hand side finds the first gunfight. Second one there, traded out. They go 1 for 2. Prada inside of the top side, gonna get knocked over and traded out completely, but the final nail in the coffin comes as Derry finds 2. Nate, the final one to fall. It got damn near close there and scary for a moment, but Oklahoma Christian will take the battle of Oklahoma. They will continue to stay at the top of the Midwest region and fight for another championship in the CCL playoffs.
And the champions are yet to fall when it matters. I mean, hats off to the Rangers again. With Lord Punked on the roster, 100% you are the better team. As soon as Manny gets back to this squad, it is business as usual in the grand final, best of 7. You look at the scoreline, the respawns. Hey, the overloads became a little bit of an issue towards the ends, but for the major amount of each respawn, it was the Eagles in the lead, start to finish. Colossus had a chance at the start there. Oklahoma Christian picked it up towards the back ends. And Search and Destroy is definitely something to look forward to from the Rangers in the postseason. And against other teams outside of the top 4, man, I think the Rangers can make some serious upsets when we get to playoffs.
I don't disagree, Colin. I'm going to be honest. I do not disagree whatsoever. I think this is a team that has been talked about by a lot of players, a lot of people, a lot of spectators, and hell, even some of the staff here. Just like, they're a team that's always around the top, but they're never like one of the top teams. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a story every year. It's like, okay, well, we know NWOSU is a good team, but how far are they really going to be able to push it this year?
Sorry. I mean, this is just one of those things that, look, you never hear me on a CCL broadcast ever, go against them, but this NWOSU team is looking like the team of the year to take St. Clair out of the LAN. What it happens every single time. Every year it happens. There's always somebody to do it, and that's what NWOSU look like right now.
Yeah, NWOSU look good. I won't lie. Their S&D looks fantastic. Their overload looks really, really practiced too. Like, yeah, that ending there, kind of like, it was a 4-1. Would it probably ended in a 4-1? Maybe another score for Oklahoma Christian. Yeah, you can kind of debate that, but also let that serve as kind of an opportunistic moment to kind of say, hey, if you want to bark the bus, make sure you don't do what Oklahoma Christian did there and allow the rally immediately afterwards. Easier said than done, but again, I don't think there was enough for me to sit here for Oklahoma Christian and be particularly worried whatsoever. I think that at least when it comes to Search and Destroy and having the main strength of their roster coming back to them soon, that it's going to turn around quite a bit for them. I think this was just a really strong kind of like, I guess, force on the opposite end that just made me go, okay, these two teams are very good when it comes to matchups against each other, and for NWOSU specifically, this was like the best matchup of a team that they could have in S&D because they were able to play against the pace of Oklahoma Christian and come out on top of the gunfights in that. I thought the score was going to go a lot differently. It looked better for Oklahoma Christian, but it still looked really good for NWOSU, and I think that's a testament to how that program has tried to approach the mode throughout the course of the season. So I'm going to be honest, I'm excited to see what NWOSU can do come the CCL playoffs. I'm excited to see this team have a chance to not only fight for a chance to be top 16, top 8, but maybe even be fighting for a LAN championship.
No, and I think I'm just excited to get to the playoffs in general, Alex, because it's been a long road to kind of climb through on the college COD side. I mean, last year was the Renaissance. I feel like this one was the foundation for what is to come for college COD. And it's just continuously, we're building the programs, we're getting better too. And the competition in Black Ops 7 has been so fun to watch from so many different schools that are joining us throughout this league. And I think that the postseason every single year is always a focus point from us on the desk on, like, we expect it to just be bangers. Yeah, there's always teams that are going to make runs. There's always teams that are going to make upsets. And right now, the NWOSU Rangers have put themselves in the spotlight to be one of those teams to kind of watch out for when we do get to those playoffs. But Alex, I mean, we got a road to LAN to talk about. So why don't you run us through what we're expecting here?
All right, well, let's take a look real quick as we go ahead and get, I believe, a graphics coming on screen here in just a short second. There we go. Fantastic. As we saw already, conference championships done, disgusted. Regional playoffs here is the final day. We have one more grand final to go ahead and walk you through from the Western region of our teams playing throughout this entire weekend. Top 3 is where we talk about the CCL playoffs on the 17th, 18th, and the 19th. Next weekend, we will have matches from every single corner of the regions that we have seen throughout the regional playoffs today, playing in what will be the fight to get to the final stop of the CCL land. You saw on the socials last week, we had the full announcement for it. It's a trip to get out the top teams and fight in St. Louis for a bunch of fun. Colin, it's going to be a great time. I'm excited for it. It is going to be an absolute great time. And of course, as we see the land finals here, one more time, St. Louis at the Impact Gaming Center, May 2nd through 3rd is when they will be there. 8 teams, $15,000 up for grabs for each of the teams that are going to be out there playing. Colin, it's going to be a great weekend, and I'm excited to see who's going to be there, because the CCL playoffs and the CCL finals every year is always a spectacle to behold.
It's always just holds such a dear spot in our hearts, Alex, to kind of look forward to the CCL postseason. It is amazing to see that we get another chance to see people in person, another chance to kind of see who the best team on LAN is again. Not to mention, chat, you're gonna have broadcast in person too, so we're gonna be there with you guys. That fires me up even more.
Yeah, last year it was something that we wanted to get back to this season. So having the broadcast on land, being able to have a talented team out there bringing you all the action on location is going to be a great time. So very excited to see everybody there when that comes around, Colin. So that being said, road to land and everything looking good. Another match down the drain, Oklahoma Christian with another regional title for themselves, as they will hold the claim over the Midwest region for, I believe this is like the 3rd time in a row, or maybe even the 4th time in a row, something like that. So many times I've lost count at this point, it probably doesn't even mean anything to them anymore. But that being said, we have one more match for the Western region, the final grand final of the regional playoffs before we start the CCL playoffs. But before that, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll see the final teams and grab the top spot for seeding in the CCL playoffs.